welcome to another episode on Spotlight. We have a very special guest joining us today on our program. Might I say, she has taken the spotlight recently in becoming Rotary International's first female president in the organization after 115 years of its long history. Very warm welcome, Jennifer Jones.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Very glad to be here.
Congratulations on becoming the first woman president of your organization. Well, White, you've had a very notable presence overall in your life so far. You've been a member of Rotary for 25 years, held multiple positions within the organization. You're also founder and president of your very own media company, Media Street Productions, an award-winning company in Windsor also, might I add. Chair of the Board of Governors of the University of Windsor and chair to Windsor Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce. You've also been awarded with the YMCA Peace Medallion, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal, Wayne State University's Peacemaker of the Year, and you're also a Doctor of Laws. Tell us a little bit about your visit to Sri Lanka. Is this your first time? How have you come to like it so far?
Well, it's actually the second time that I've been able to visit this beautiful island nation, and the first time in 2014. And coming back now, certainly in my capacity as the president of our organization, but most importantly to be able to visit with friends that are part of our Rotary family here and to support the country during a very critical time, an economic crisis that has been going on here, and to be able to be here to support our members and raise everyone's spirits perhaps a little bit.
Right, you come at a very crucial time to the country.
Yes.
What does your visit to Sri Lanka mean at this crucial time, and especially given right after your appointment?
Well, as I said, there are many Rotary family members who are here, people who I've known for a number of years, and so as they're working to make improvements and work on projects to better the community and the country, it's an opportunity to be able to support them, to see the wonderful work that's going on, and to be able to understand how we can best support them.
Right. What are some of the projects or initiatives that are being implemented currently in the country, given the crisis, overall projects, and any other new projects or initiatives that you're willing to start or look over given your visit here?
Well, this has been a very full day, and let me begin with the highlight of one of them, particularly pertinent during this economic crisis and what is going on. We had a meeting with the health minister this morning and with one of our longstanding partners, UNICEF, to showcase an agreement that we have to procure medicines to be able to bring them into country right now where there is an absence. Critical medicines that need to get to the front line to people. And so an opportunity for us to actually do a handover of some of those medicines today so that the ministry can get them into the hands of the people. This is critically important at this point in time when people haven't been able to get things that they need. And so that was a very important meeting that we had today. We rang the bell at the stock exchange this morning to highlight sustainability and the environment and the planting of 1 million trees that is happening across the country. It's been a several year-long proposition, and it will take several more years to accomplish, but a very notable project that's going on. I just minutes ago left a new program actually that was launched a couple of years ago for breast cancer and cervical cancer detection, actual oral cancers as well, and a new piece of equipment that they're looking at acquiring right now. And the number of deaths that have been avoided, the amount of treatment that's been able to occur has been a true gift to people of the country who don't have to pay anything for this service, because we know that early prevention really does avoid complications and or death in many of these cancers.
In the recent past, we've also seen the United Nations launching global appeals to support the country. What is Rotary's contribution in that regard, and your partnerships with UN organizations and other international organizations that are working on the ground to help Sri Lankans right now?
Well, the partnership that I just mentioned with UNICEF is somewhat groundbreaking in terms of the partnership that we have to get these medicines here. This is a little unprecedented in terms of what we have done for support. We also have a disaster response fund, which our members are able to tap into when there's either man-made or climate-oriented crisis. This certainly is one that would qualify for assistance in that regard. I think one of the things that's most notable is that we have members in more than 200 countries and geographical areas. And so when something is happening in country, such as what's going on right now, because we know people, it's not something that you just watch on the news. It's something that becomes very real. And this is happening to our friends. So when I'm watching news, whether I'm at home in Canada or elsewhere, and I see the lineups for fuel, I see food scarcity issues, these are issues that become real because I know the people who are here. And so that is one of the critical reasons why it was important for me to be here right now, to make sure that people feel supported, uplifted, and to help to inspire them to understand that we're all here together, and the way that we're able to help each other at times like this is really important.
Right. Also, as a, you've given your backdrop and your history and your experience also in the field of media, would you like to share some information or your ideas on how you'd see disinformation? How could that be countered given the situation in the country right now with increased globalization and social media taking minutes or just maybe seconds to take up any news,
absolutely,
fake or not,
yes,
without any sort of barriers? What countermeasures can governments and people in general know to take?
Well, it's one of the things that we did just 2 days ago was using vocational background, as you've mentioned, is to shoot a short video for tourism here in Sri Lanka, and a personal testimonial of my love of the country, the people, the climate, the environment, everything that's going on, in an effort to encourage tourism to come back in earnest. Things, while still very challenging, are stabilizing to the extent that tourists can come back, and that injection of dollars into the economy is critically important right now for people whose businesses need support. The amount of tourism that comes in here on an annual basis is very important to the economy of this nation, and so being able to put a voice behind it from a vocational standpoint was certainly something that I'm very happy that we were able to do. From a media standpoint, from a news standpoint, I'll go back to knowing your sources. And for us, because we, as I mentioned, because as an organization we see each other through a different lens, I can get real-time intelligence from my friends who are here. So if I'm watching something on the news and I don't quite know whether I believe it or not, I can, whether it's this country or others, I can pick up the phone or I can reach out to a friend via email to say, is this exactly what's going on, or is it different? And so I think we need to be very concerned about the kind of way that we get news, and if you're able to talk with people that you trust, and that's the hallmark of our organization. We are people of integrity, and when I pick up the phone to call someone here, I trust that they're going to give me real-time intelligence of what's actually happening.
Right. Any sort of experience or journey you would like to share on in your path to get to your current position, to young aspiring girls, to children, to anyone, especially given the situation of it feels like all hope is lost. It's not just localized to Sri Lanka, but it's across the world. Many countries, developing countries, are facing many issues and all that. So any encouraging words, what sort of inspiration could you share? Tell us a little about your journey as part of a Rotaractor or in part of the Rotary Club.
Sure.
That has inspired you to get to where you are.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things that we need to recognize is that globally, for the past 2.5 years, we've been through an incredibly trying situation with the pandemic alone. And then when you add on top of it the economic crisis, things that are happening here in country, and look at other countries, the war in Ukraine, I mean, the natural disasters and flooding taking place in Pakistan. I mean, the list is very, very long of what's going on across the world. And so I think when you think of hope and messages to younger people with regard to our organization, I think one of the things that I would highlight is that, you know, part of my role, I believe right now, is to help break down stereotypes. And I think that our organization has been seen globally as very male-dominated and somewhat perhaps elitist. And we want people of excellence in our organization. And yes, we're discerning about who we bring in, but we want the best to be here to solve the world's most pressing challenges. And while I'm the first woman to serve in this role, I certainly will not be the last. And in 2 years' time, another woman will actually take on the position of president of our organization. And I hope that that helps people to see us just a little bit differently, and for young younger girls, younger women, younger men. I hope it gives them an opportunity to say, if she can do it, maybe I can too.
Right. Let's take a short commercial break with that. Let's be back with more to discuss with Ms. Jennifer Jones. Welcome back. You're joining us on Spotlight to discuss the way forward and the contribution of Rotary International to Sri Lanka with its first female president, Ms. Jennifer Jones. Would you like to touch a little bit on projects and regarding health or some of the bigger projects? I think cervical cancer is a project that you're working on now in addition to polio. Could you touch us a little bit on that and explain what is the progress that has been made so far?
Sure. Well, one of the largest, boldest initiatives here in Sri Lanka is actually to become the first country to be cervical cancer free. And visiting the cancer center earlier today where I was at, we were talking about that and strides that are being made toward the achievement of that goal. It is a bold undertaking, but it is a preventable, treatable cancer. And so this is one where immunizing girls and boys to ensure that they don't contract HPV is something that will lead to the nation being able to achieve that. So certainly a huge undertaking, but one that is very achievable and very laudable. I'm excited to see what progress is being made there. With regard to polio that you mentioned, it's our #1 corporate priority. It's something that we've been at for more than 30 plus years. There are 2 countries that are remaining endemic right now, Pakistan and Afghanistan. And we are working tirelessly to ensure that every last child receives the 2 life-saving drops that are provided to them. It is a hard battle. We've been at it for a long time. We've partnered with the WHO, with UNICEF, the CDC, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We, as an organization, have raised more than $2.6 billion US dollars and immunized more than 2.6 billion children. We have a target of the end of 2023 of end of transmission of what we call the wild polio virus. It is not an easy task. It's been a battle that we've been hoping to cross the finish line for the past several years, but science is showing us that we're getting very close, and we believe that we're seeing the last cases. I spent some time recently in Pakistan in the National Emergency Operations Center with some of our scientists and technicians there, seeing the progress that that's being taken. We have the full support of the government, and we're making incredible strides. So I do believe that it is something that we're going to see happen in the very short future, and it will be a day that we will celebrate across the globe to remove the second disease in the history of mankind, the first being smallpox.
Brilliant. Something we could all look forward to.
Oh, yes.
In terms of sustainability, green projects, which is the biggest thing right now given climate change and all sorts of natural disasters taking place. Could you tell us a little bit about initiatives taken that you all are undertaking across the world and Sri Lanka as well? Sure.
We actually have adopted the environment as our newest area of focus for our organization just within the past 2 years. And most recently, I was just in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt for COP27 just over a month ago. Led a delegation there of individuals from our organization and leaders and scientists on mangrove restoration and the importance of these mangrove trees to shoreline erosion and protecting our shoreline. They are also superpower plants. They take in carbon dioxide. They put out clean oxygen. And we have more than 25 grants globally that are going on right now that are supporting mangrove restoration in multiple countries. Certainly, this is an island nation that has mangrove population here. We're planting over 1 million trees. The mangroves are not part of that, but another aspect of what we can do to protect shoreline, particularly where there's rapid urbanization taking place.
Right. I think we reached the conclusion of our program. I'm very grateful to have you here on our program and our studios and our country at the moment. Given our current situation in the country, what message could you give to Sri Lankans right now who are facing this difficult period?
Well, what I've seen here is resilience. I think that's probably the most important word that I could use in terms of the encounters that I've had with people since the minute I walked off the plane. I've seen people with incredible love and warmth and smiles. And I know that while this has been incredibly difficult, you are starting to see some hope on the horizon. And so please know that the world is watching. We're all supporting you and sending along not only help with and assistance with projects, but lots of warm regards and lots of love as you continue to climb out of what has been, I know, a very difficult situation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've had Jennifer Jones, the president of Rotary International, joining us here on AdaDerana 24 on Spotlight to discuss Rotary International's contribution to Sri Lanka, overall work forward, and how they're planning to help the country given this dire economic situation. Join us again for another episode. Thank you.